Dr. Marcus Hale woke up before the alarm, even though it was still midnight by Titan's artificial time cycle. The research station was quiet, filled with the soft hum of machines and the faint crackle of static from the outer sensors. He had lived alone on the Saturn moon for 8 months now, surrounded only by frozen plains, dark skies, and the heavy silence of deep space. At first, it had been peaceful, even comforting. Now, it mostly felt empty. Marcus rubbed his eyes and sat up in his small metal bed. His room was lit only by the soft blue glow of the monitor screens on the opposite wall. Titan nights always felt longer than Earth nights, even though the clock insisted they were the same. He pushed off the blanket and stood, stepping onto the cold floor. He planned to heat water for tea, maybe read the new data logs, maybe pretend he wasn't the only human being for millions of kilometers. But the room's lights flickered once. Then again. Marcus froze. The station never flickered. Power on Titan was stable, carefully regulated, checked 3 times a day. A flicker meant only 2 things: a system error or an outside disturbance. Neither one was good. Before he could reach for his tablet to check diagnostics, the air pressure in the room shifted. Not loudly, just a soft, strange feeling, like the room had breathed in and held its breath. His skin prickled. He turned. Someone was standing in the corner. Marcus's heart slammed once against his ribs. His first thought was that sleep deprivation had finally made him hallucinate. His second thought was that someone had snuck into the station. But both ideas collapsed when he saw her clearly. The figure was tall, thin, and faintly glowing. Her skin, or what Marcus assumed was her skin, shimmered like crystal dust caught in moonlight. Patterns of bioluminescent lines ran along her arms and face, pulsing softly, like veins of light beneath translucent glass. She was shaped like a human woman, but her presence felt ancient, as if she carried memories older than Earth itself. Her eyes were the clearest part of her, not glowing, not alien-looking, just tired. Deeply, quietly tired, like someone who had walked through centuries of darkness to reach a single point of light. Marcus couldn't move. His breath froze halfway in his lungs. Every training file he had ever studied about first contact told him to stay calm, take notes, observe, report. But at that moment, he was not a scientist. He was simply a man who had woken up and found an alien standing by his bed. The woman took 1 step forward. Her movement was slow, careful, almost fragile. The glowing lines across her body flickered weakly, like a candle struggling to stay alive. When she spoke, her voice was soft but clear, not like a machine translation, not warped, but natural, almost human. "Can you please clean me?" Marcus stared at her, brain frantically trying to interpret the words. Clean? What did she mean? Clean what? Her voice carried no threat, no aggression. It sounded more like a plea, like she was asking for help. What? Marcus whispered, hardly aware he was speaking. The alien woman lowered her head slightly. The light across her arms dimmed further. It reminded Marcus of someone collapsing from exhaustion. "I cannot hold this form. Please, clean me." Her legs trembled. She reached out a hand to steady herself against the wall. Her fingers left faint crystals behind, tiny shards that glittered before dissolving into dust. Marcus's fear slowly faded, replaced by something else: concern. She didn't look dangerous. She looked injured. Sick, even. He forced himself to breathe slowly. If she was here, she had reached a human research station for a reason. If she had wanted to harm him, she wouldn't have spoken politely. He stepped one small pace closer. "I want to help," he said, choosing his words carefully. "But I don't understand what you mean by clean. Are you hurt?" She lifted her head. Her eyes met his. And for a brief moment, Marcus felt something, a quiet wave of emotion. Not telepathy, not forceful, but like seeing pain reflected in someone else's expression. My people use the word, she said slowly, as if translating concepts into a language she had not spoken in a long time. To remove corruption. To stop the spread. To live another moment. Her voice trembled. I am. Marcus noticed now that the glowing lines on her body were not symmetrical. They were cracked, branching like fractures in glass. Some areas pulsed brightly. Others faded into darkness. It looked like a spreading infection. He nodded gently. You're sick. She blinked, as if testing the word. Yes. Sick. Another crystal flake fell from her arm and dissolved before reaching the floor. Marcus moved toward his desk slowly, trying not to startle her. He picked up his tablet, keeping his movements visible. I need to check your vital signs. If I can understand what's hurting you, I might be able to help you. She watched him but didn't stop him. Her chest rose and fell in slow, careful breaths. Marcus activated the station's scanner designed originally for analyzing Aurelian relics found across abandoned outposts. The moment the scanner detected her presence, it released a soft beep, almost surprised. Marcus pointed the device at her. This won't hurt. It just reads energy patterns. She nodded. The scanner glowed blue as it started collecting data. The screen filled with symbols and spikes that Marcus had never seen before. Whatever she was, her biological structure was beyond anything known. At the top of the screen, one word repeated in red. Corruption source detected. Marcus frowned. You're infected with something. Something powerful. She lowered her gaze. Yes, it consumed my people. Marcus's stomach tightened. He remembered the old reports. The Aurelian civilization, discovered only through ruins and fading energy signatures. Technically advanced. Thought to be extinct. No one had ever found a living one. Until now. You're Aurelian, Marcus said quietly. She nodded once, as if the word carried heavy meaning. I am Seriana. Her name sounded like a whisper of wind through glass. Marcus swallowed. Seriana. You said your people used the word clean to mean removing corruption. You want me to help stop this infection? She nodded again. I searched for life. Intelligent life. Enough to understand. Enough to help. Humans are new. Young. But your science is unpredictable. Adaptive. I hoped. Her voice cracked for the first time. I hoped you would clean me before I dissolve. Her body flickered again. The light in her chest dimmed sharply, and she grabbed the edge of Marcus's desk to keep herself upright. Marcus felt urgency spark inside him. She didn't have hours. Maybe not even minutes. He wasn't trained for alien medicine, but he was the only person she had. And she had come to him specifically. I'll do everything I can, he said firmly, surprised by the confidence in his own voice. She looked at him with quiet hope. A fragile expression that made Marcus feel a strange mix of responsibility and courage. He stepped closer, slowly, raising his hand. May I examine your arm? To see the infection up close? Seriana gently extended her arm. Up close, her skin looked like smooth crystal under soft light. But cracks ran through it, like tiny fault lines. Inside the cracks, something faintly flickered like tiny sparks trying to escape. Marcus felt a tremor of fear again, but he pushed it aside. He lifted the scanner and ran it across her arm. The screen filled with new data. Biological, he murmured, but partially energetic, adaptive. That's why your people couldn't stop it. It reacts to technology. Seriana nodded weakly. Only organic chaos can stop it. Chaos? Marcus asked, confused. She met his eyes. Human biology. It is unpredictable, difficult for the infection to adapt to. You may have a way. Marcus lowered the scanner, I don't know if I can cure it, but maybe I can slow it down. Give us time. Seriana lowered her head. Time is enough. Her knees buckled slightly, and Marcus instinctively reached out, catching her before she fell. She was surprisingly light, almost weightless. Her body felt cool, like smooth stone on a winter day. He helped her sit on the edge of his bed. She watched him with a calm, trusting expression. You came a long way to find a human, Marcus said softly. I came a long way to find hope, she whispered. Marcus stood, taking a deep breath. Then let's start. He turned on the emergency lab lights, activated the portable diagnostic table, and prepared his tools. He didn't know if anything he had would be enough, but he refused to let her fade away in front of him. While he worked, Seriana watched him quietly, her pulsing light growing weaker with every passing minute. She had crossed the cold darkness of space. She had survived the collapse of her species. And at midnight, she had entered a lonely human's room and asked a simple, fragile question. Can you please clean me? For the first time in months, Marcus did not feel alone. He felt needed. He felt responsible. And he would not let the last Aurelian fall. Not tonight. Not ever. Marcus worked quickly, though every movement felt painfully slow compared to the speed of the unknown infection spreading through Seriana's body. The lab lights cast long shadows across the room, mixing with the soft glow from her cracked, crystal-like skin. Every time her light dimmed, Marcus felt his chest tighten. He didn't know how much time she had left. He placed several scanners around the room, letting them run automatic cycles. Their soft beeping filled the air, steady and rhythmic, like artificial heartbeats. Seriana sat on the diagnostic table, her hands resting on her knees, her posture calm even though her body was weakening. Marcus kept glancing at her, making sure she didn't fade or collapse. He had never treated an alien organism before. He wasn't even a medical doctor, he was a xenobiologist, trained to study dead relics, not living beings on the edge of death. But Seriana's eyes carried trust, and he felt responsible to honor that trust in every possible way. The largest scanner beeped sharply, flashing yellow on its display. Marcus spun around, reading the data. The crystalline corruption was spreading at a constant rate, 1% every 2 minutes. At that speed, it would overtake her whole body before dawn. This infection, Marcus muttered. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Seriana watched him calmly. It was made to be unstoppable. Marcus turned his head toward her. She nodded slowly. Yes, my people were strong, advanced, but we were not prepared for something that could think. Something that could learn from every attempt to destroy it. Marcus swallowed. Are you saying the infection is alive? Not alive, she whispered, searching for the right word. But aware. It changes its form. It adapts to every tool used against it. Every time we tried to fight it, it became stronger. Marcus looked at the scanner again. The infection's energy signature shifted constantly, like a storm of changing patterns. It was almost as if the corruption sensed his scans and adjusted to avoid them. He stepped closer to her. Why didn't it adapt to you? You were in stasis. Wouldn't it have consumed you while you slept? Seriana lowered her gaze. It tried, but stasis slowed it. I created a shell around my core. A barrier. It held for many years, but not forever. And you came here, Marcus said softly, to Titan. Yes, she whispered. Your moon emits frequencies that disrupt the corruption. Enough that I could wake. Enough that I could move. Enough that I could find you. Marcus felt a strange heaviness settle in his chest. Why him? Why a lone researcher on a frozen moon? She seemed to sense his question before he asked it. You studied my people, Seriana said. You searched for answers long after others stopped caring. You were open to discovery. Open. To us. Marcus let out a quiet breath. Maybe she was right. He had always insisted that the Aurelians hadn't vanished without reason. He wanted to understand them in a way other scientists never bothered to. And now, one of them was sitting in front of him, trusting him with her life. He turned back to his makeshift workstation and began mixing biological samples. He extracted microscopic pieces of the crystalline infection from her arm. Every touch made more shards fall from her skin, dissolving into dust before they hit the table. "Does it hurt?" he asked softly. She shook her head. "Not pain. It feels like forgetting. As if parts of me disappear." Marcus paused his work. "I won't let that happen." Her eyes softened with gratitude. He activated a microscope, examining the sample. It didn't behave like any known organism. It shifted its structure constantly, breaking apart and reforming into new patterns. It reacted to heat, cold, light, darkness, chemicals, electricity. The only thing it didn't react to was human DNA. Human genes. Marcus murmured. "It doesn't know how to fight them." Seriana nodded weakly. "Your biology is unpredictable. It cannot learn your patterns. That is why humans may be able to help where we failed." Marcus kept watching the sample. It tried to attach itself to the human DNA he placed next to it, but each time it made contact, it simply collapsed and reformed elsewhere. A strange hope stirred inside him. "If I mix human immune signals with an energy stabilizer," Marcus whispered, "maybe we can slow the infection inside you. Maybe even stop it temporarily." Seriana's posture straightened slightly. "You believe this?" He looked at her. "I believe we have a chance." Her lips curved in a faint, tired smile. Marcus gathered more tools. He worked with intense focus, hands steady despite the weight of the situation. Minutes passed. The infection in Seriana's body spread further. Her glow dimmed with every small shift of her body. At one point, she wavered and nearly slipped from the table. Marcus caught her gently. She was growing lighter, alarmingly light. "You must hurry," she whispered. "I know," Marcus said, voice tight. He prepared a stabilizing serum, a mixture of Titan minerals, synthesized immune proteins, and energy conduction fields from the station's equipment. It wasn't a cure. It wasn't even tested. It was simply a desperate attempt to slow the spreading corruption. At last, the serum glowed faintly blue. Marcus turned toward Seriana. "This might give you time," he said. "Just time. Not a solution." Her eyes met his with steady trust. "Time is life." He nodded. "I'm going to apply it to your arm first. We'll see how your body responds." She extended her arm slowly. Marcus placed the device against her skin. The serum released a soft pulse of blue light, spreading across the cracked areas like gentle waves. For a moment, nothing happened. Marcus held his breath. Then the cracks flickered. Some of the deeper fractures brightened, reversing their darkening process. The infection slowed its movement. The scanner beeped, registering a drop in corruption speed. "It's working," Marcus whispered. Seriana exhaled softly, relief visible in her eyes. "Thank you." But the relief lasted only seconds. The infection suddenly surged in another direction, shooting up her shoulder and across her back. Her glow flickered violently. She gasped, gripping the edge of the table. Marcus stepped back, alarmed. "It's adapting." The scanner flashed red. Corruption intensity increasing. Seriana's breathing became uneven. Her skin dimmed like dying embers. Marcus grabbed additional stabilizers, applying them quickly. The infection slowed again, but didn't stop. It kept shifting direction, avoiding each new application like a creature learning to dodge attacks. He clenched his jaw. "It's fighting back." Seriana's voice was faint. "Yes. It learns." Marcus forced himself to think. If I target more areas at once, maybe I can overwhelm it. Oh. He loaded multiple stabilizers into the device. This may feel uncomfortable. I trust you, she whispered. Marcus activated the device again. Blue light spread across her body, forming a glowing network around the corrupted areas. The infection's movement slowed further, struggling against the sudden flood of signals. Seriana lifted her head slightly. It is easier to breathe. Marcus exhaled in relief. Good. That's good. But his relief was short-lived. Another alarm blared from the station console. Communication tower offline. Marcus stared at the flashing message. The infection, he whispered. It's spreading into the station systems. Seriana looked at him with quiet seriousness. It will consume everything it touches. It feeds on energy. Machines. Networks. Marcus felt cold dread seep through him. I need the communication tower. Earth needs to know what's happening. Seriana shook her head slowly. It blocked me from sending warnings long ago. Now it blocks you. Marcus ran to the main console, trying to reroute power. But the system refused every command. The infection had reached the tower. Soon, it would spread to life support. He rushed back to Seriana. We're out of time. Her glow was faint but stable. The stabilizers bought her minutes but not more. Marcus, she whispered. You must prepare something greater. Not only for me, for your world. Marcus looked at her, confusion and fear mixing in his chest. What do you mean? She met his gaze with quiet intensity. The infection did not start with my people. It was made by someone else. Someone still out there. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Who? She closed her eyes briefly, searching her fading memories. It was a civilization older than mine. One that believed no species should rise too high. They feared us. And now, they will fear you. Marcus stood silent, absorbing her words. You're saying, he whispered, that whoever destroyed your people might come for humanity? Seriana nodded slowly. If you save me, if you stop this corruption, they will notice. They will not understand how humans did what Aurelians could not. Her breath weakened. They will see you as a threat. Marcus felt a strange mixture of fear and resolve. Then we need to be ready, he said. Seriana looked at him with a faint, grateful smile. We will be. Her body flickered again. Marcus reached for more stabilizers. Stay with me, Seriana. I'm not done yet. Her voice was barely a whisper. I am here because you gave me hope. Marcus Hale. Do not lose yours. He worked faster than ever, building devices, scanning signals, trying to strengthen the stabilizing field around her. The infection crawled through the station's systems, lights flickering as if the building itself was breathing in fear. Outside, Titan's dark sky trembled with strange energy patterns. Inside, a human and the last Aurelian fought the impossible together, and the night was far from over. The lights inside the Titan research station dimmed again, flickering like a trembling heartbeat. Marcus felt the vibration under his feet as the infection continued spreading through the building's systems. The walls made quiet crackling sounds, like ice breaking deep below the surface. He had minutes left before the station failed completely. Seriana sat on the diagnostic bed, her light slowly weakening. The stabilizers held the corruption back, but only in patches. Every few seconds, the infection shifted direction and pushed into new areas of her body. Her hands trembled with each pulse of energy. Still, her eyes remained calm. You must finish it, she whispered. Marcus tightened his grip on the device he was building. I'm almost there. He was assembling something bigger, something that wasn't just a stabilizer or a temporary solution. A cleansing pulse, a hybrid wave made from Aurelian energy signatures and human immune responses. It was a gamble. It was untested. And it was dangerous. But it was also the only way. The infection had already broken into the communication tower, the power core, and the environmental controls. If it reached life support, Marcus and Seriana would run out of air. Titan's atmosphere outside was thick and toxic, impossible to breathe. They were trapped inside a failing building on a frozen world, with a galaxy-level threat closing in. Marcus worked faster, linking energy coils and organic conduits together. Sweat slid down his forehead even though the room grew colder by the minute. His breath fogged as the temperature dropped. Seriana watched him with quiet patience. She was fading, but she didn't panic. She didn't cry out. Her stillness made Marcus feel something unfamiliar, an ache of respect and fear at the same time. "How are you so calm?" he asked, without looking up. She gave a faint smile. "My people faced many endings. We learned to breathe softly, even when breath is short." Marcus swallowed. He didn't know whether to admire her or feel more afraid of what she had lived through. Another alarm blared. The lights switched to deep red. Life support compromised. Seriana looked toward the screen. "It is time." "No," Marcus said sharply. "I can still finish this. I just need—" A loud crack echoed through the ceiling. Dust fell from the ventilation shafts. The infection was clawing into the air systems. He looked at her again, voice trembling. "If this pulse doesn't work—" "I know," she said quietly. He looked down at the half-constructed device. "It might hurt you." She nodded. "If it gives the universe one more chance, it is worth any pain." 5. Marcus forced himself to keep breathing. He tightened wires, secured the pulse chamber, and programmed the final sequences. The machine hummed softly, growing brighter. It filled the small lab with a blue glow. Seriana's eyes reflected that glow. "It is beautiful." "No. It is beautiful. It is beautiful." "It's unstable," Marcus muttered. She tilted her head slightly. "So are humans." He stopped. That simple sentence made him look at her differently. She didn't see humans as weak or primitive. She saw them as unpredictable with potential her people didn't have. And for the first time since she arrived, Marcus felt a strange new confidence. He completed another connection. The device pulsed once more. Now, it was almost ready. "We're going to send this pulse through your body," he said. "It carries human immune signals. The infection won't know how to adapt. It'll collapse from confusion." Seriana nodded weakly. "Good." Marcus hesitated. "But if it spreads too quickly, it could overwhelm your core energy. It could destroy you." She looked at him softly. "Marcus Hale, life is not held by caution. It is held by courage." He felt something tighten in his chest. A deep shudder ran through the building. A panel of lights burst above them, throwing sparks. The infection had reached the structural supports. The station would not last long. Marcus carried the device to the center of the room and placed it on the metal floor. It hummed louder, building energy. He stepped back and looked at Seriana. "It's your decision," he said. "Tell me when you're ready." She stood slowly. Her knees weakened, and Marcus caught her arm to steady her. Her glow was faint, barely visible. The corruption lines had reached her chest. She exhaled shakily. "Help me stand," she whispered. He supported her carefully, guiding her to the device. She placed one hand on the glowing core. The machine vibrated softly beneath her touch. "I will anchor myself," she said. "You must activate it. When the pulse begins, do not stop it." Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but she gently shook her head. "No matter what happens." His hands trembled slightly. "I don't want to hurt you." "You want to save me," she corrected. "Those are different paths." The infection surged suddenly across her neck, darkening her light. She winced, lips tightening. Marcus moved to the control panel. "Ready?" She met his eyes. "Ready." He pressed the activation switch. The machine roared to life. A burst of blue-white light exploded upward, swirling around Seriana like a storm. The pulse wrapped around her body, sinking into the cracks. Her crystal-like skin lit up from within, glowing brighter and brighter. The infection reacted violently, pushing against the wave, spreading faster in some areas, collapsing in others. Seriana gasped, gripping the device harder. Her knees buckled, and Marcus reached toward her, but she stopped him with a raised hand. "Do not touch," she warned through clenched teeth. "The pulse must complete." Her glow intensified, flooding the room with blinding light. Marcus shielded his face. The energy grew hotter, brighter, louder. The infection screamed in shifting patterns, dark lines racing across her body and shattering under the pulse. "Hold on," Marcus shouted. She nodded, though her body trembled violently. Her face twisted with pain, but she kept herself upright. The pulse built toward its peak. The infection surged one last time, gathering in her chest like a dark star. Then the entire station shook. A beam of blue light exploded outward from Seriana, rushing across the floors and walls, tearing through the corruption. The light stabilized. The cracking noises stopped. Machines flickered back to life. The infection retreated, dissolving into fine dust. Marcus stumbled back, breath caught in his throat. The world went quiet. The pulse faded. Seriana collapsed. Marcus jumped forward, catching her just before she hit the floor. Her body felt heavier now, more solid. Her glow dimmed to a soft, warm light. "Seriana?" Marcus whispered urgently. "Can you hear me?" Her chest rose slowly. Then again. She opened her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. Marcus stared at her in disbelief. "No. You did it. You survived." She blinked slowly. "Because you created a path for me to survive. My people were too predictable. We trusted patterns. You created chaos. And chaos saved me." Marcus let out a shaky laugh, relief washing over him. "Happy to help." She smiled softly. Her skin no longer cracked. The corruption was gone. She looked whole, for the first time since she appeared in his room at midnight. But their victory was brief. A low alarm beeped once more. External energy anomaly detected. Seriana's expression changed. They noticed. Marcus frowned. "Who?" "The ones who created the corruption." The station trembled again, this time from something outside, something vast in the sky. Marcus ran to the nearest window. Titan's dark atmosphere glowed faintly as a huge silhouette appeared above the horizon. Not a ship built by humans. Not by Aurelians. Something older. Something silent and watching. Seriana stood behind him, her light steady now. "They see that I survived. They see that a new species has become unpredictable enough to stop their weapon. Winley." Marcus felt cold dread. "Are they hostile?" She looked at the massive shape in the sky. Marcus swallowed. "Then what do we do?" She raised her hand and pointed toward the device that saved her. "We prepare. We warn your world. We stand together. You and your people are more capable than you believe." He looked at her, unsure, but determined. "And you?" She met his eyes with quiet strength. "I will stand with you. I did not cross a dying galaxy just to be saved. I crossed it to find hope, and I found it." Outside, the ancient ship hovered silently, watching. Inside, a human and the last Aurelian stood side by side, facing the unknown future forming above Titan's frozen plains. For the first time, they were not afraid, because they were not alone.